Welcome, everyone, to a NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for February 21st, 2025. Wednesday, I would not have predicted how this week's Smackdown was going to go down. On Thursday, we got word that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was going to be on SmackDown. Out of nowhere, the final boss decides to once again make his presence felt. What happened on SmackDown? Let's talk about it. Shout out to everybody watching, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. This was also the first SmackDown after the news came out of Road Dogg Brian James as the co-lead writer of SmackDown. Did it make any difference whatsoever? Well, let's get to it. We had Cody Rhodes arriving backstage. General Manager Nick Aldis took Cody Rhodes out of the six-man main event. Cody wanted to know why. Aldis said it was out of his hands. He could not do anything about it. And he said that the final boss wants to see Cody one-on-one in the ring. That set the tone for the show. We had our first match of the evening, which was Drew McIntyre, who's in the Elimination Chamber, versus Jimmy Uso. McIntyre was dominating Jimmy in the early moments, sent him into the barricade, and then Jimmy fought back with a suicide dive, but then McIntyre quickly regained control and gave Jimmy an Alabama slam onto the steel steps. Now, after the commercial break was over, they went back and forth, traded some shots. McIntyre was coming off the top rope, but Jimmy caught him with a super kick, hit him with a spear. McIntyre kicks out, and then McIntyre regains control, hits him with the Glasgow kiss, and started trash talking. But then Jimmy, out of nowhere, he counters McIntyre with a roll-up and gets a surprise 1-2-3 victory over McIntyre. I felt like we saw this finish with Jey Uso a couple months ago on the Netflix premiere or somewhere around that period. I remember comparing it to Bret Hart and Diesel from the 1995 Survivor Series, where the heel, and Diesel wasn't even a heel, but he got a little bit too cocky and arrogant, and then the other guy comes out with the surprise win out of nowhere. Drew McIntyre takes another L heading into Elimination Chamber. Not sure that's what I would do. I feel like McIntyre is taking way too many losses at this point. I'm not really sure where this is going, but you would think with McIntyre moving to SmackDown, he'd be going on a winning streak. We'll see where they go with this, but it was a little strange to me, and dare I say, not the only strange thing on this broadcast. I feel like he's not being punished. I feel like WWE has some sort of direction that this is going. At least I hope so. Road Dogg, he apparently knows what he's doing. We'll see. And after the match was over, McIntyre got his heat back, took out Jey with the Claymore. Officials were coming down. Yeah, whatever. Solo Sikoa arrived. He met with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. He said what happened last week was an accident. Fatu said it was all good and made it clear, though, that if it wasn't an accident, Solo would not be standing. And Solo said he was going to be the manager or be at ringside for the tag match since Cody was taken out. But then Fatu revealed that him and Solo are going to be in the ring as a team for the match. So basically, Solo is calling the shots now, or Jacob Fatu is calling the shots now, and Solo Sikoa is answering to Fatu and taking his lead for now. That is a match that is rumored for WrestleMania. And Solo said he loves Jacob. No response from Jacob. Poor Solo. I kind of feel bad for him. We had a video package recapping the Elimination Chamber, all the qualifying matches. We then had a backstage segment with R-Truth and Carmelo. We had some comedy. Miz came in, and Miz is trying to get the tag team with Carmelo, have them be known as Mello Don't Miz, and Carmelo just blew him off. But we did have the tag match with R-Truth and a mystery partner against Mello Don't Miz, for lack of a better tag team name. Miz and Carmelo against R-Truth and somebody who, according to R-Truth, was a native of Louisiana. And he brought out his partner, Louisiana Knight, LA Knight. So R-Truth, LA, thought LA Knight was from Louisiana. There you go. And we had a total comedy match here. R-Truth was acting like the referee at one point, making the count on Carmelo, and Carmelo was just confused by this. Maybe John Cena was trying to pin Carmelo and R-Truth was just making the count. Or it was Little Jimmy going for the cover, not really sure. But anyways, Carmelo, he was very confused by this, and then R-Truth tagged The Miz. We've seen this before, and he's over in the opponent's corner, and he got knocked off the apron. And then after the break, LA Knight got into the mix, and him and Miz botched something. R-Truth then came in, did the John Cena moves, put on what Wade Barrett described as the STFU. Haven't heard that name used for that move in a long time. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura, the worst United States champion in quite some time, as far as I'm concerned, attacking LA Knight on the outside of the ring. Miz and Carmelo then double teamed R-Truth and picked up the win. It was what it was. It was a comedy match. I do not care about the United States title at this point, I have to say. And Miz and Mello pick up a win. There you go. Maybe they will become a solid team. SmackDown Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton came to the ring for a promo, and she talked about how she would have had Nia beat last week if not for the interference from Candice LeRae helping her meal ticket. And then she said that her and Trish Stratus are going to make sure that the irresistible force comes to a definitive end. And then we had Nia Jax and Candice interrupting, and Nia said she's going to come back for her championship. And then we had a match between Tiffany and Candice LeRae. Charlotte Flair came out there to do some commentary. This match was basically what you would expect it to be. Tiffany getting a win over Candice. Candice did get in some offense, but not too much here. And ultimately, Tiffany was going to win this one. She got the 1, 2, 3 with the prettiest moonsault ever. And then Nia attacked her after the match. Trish Stratus ran down to make the save, but she was overwhelmed. And Nia ended up giving Trish and Tiffany a double annihilator. So the heels getting some real heat here post-match. And as Matthew pointed out, once again, Tiffany looking weak. I mean, we all know Tiffany and Trish are going to win at the event. It's just obvious to me. Trish ain't losing in Canada, and Tiffany's not going to lose before WrestleMania. So, they're trying to get as much heat on Nia as possible before she ultimately loses. But what I would really like to see, and this is early talk on predictions, but I'd really like to see Tiffany pin Nia clean at the event. We don't need Trish beating Nia or even Candice. Like, I think you got to make Tiffany look really strong. She should be beating Nia in that tag team match. That's what I think they should do. I don't know if they will, but that's just my take on it. And Charlotte got in the ring and stood over Tiffany's body, and we still got some time to build for that match. And then backstage, Cody Rhodes met with Damian Priest. Priest wanted to know why Rock was there, and Cody said it's just that time of the year, and he's sure whatever it is, it's going to be eventful. And then Priest talked about the possibility of him and Cody. They walked out as champions last year, but this year only one man can walk out as champion. And then Braun Strowman confronted Priest, and they did agree to handle business together in the main event. More on that in a few minutes. Next up, we had Naomi and Bianca Belair come into the ring. I believe there was a singles match scheduled, but then we had an attack from behind. Liv Morgan and Raquel attacked Naomi and Bianca Belair. Tahana bomb to Bianca, and then the Oblivion to Naomi. You had the officials coming down. Pretty quick segment here. Apparently, there was talk that a few segments and matches had to be changed because of The Rock showing up on very short notice, and apparently this was one of those segments. So they just did an angle here to give Liv and Raquel some heat. Probably better than whatever they actually had planned. I hate to say it. We had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven meeting with Nick Aldis. Chelsea Green upset that she's not getting a spot at the Chamber PLE in Canada. But Nick Aldis said she can have a match in Canada on next week's SmackDown. And we don't know who the opponent will be for Chelsea Green. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the chat room. And shout out to Mr. Tito. Mr. Tito, who wrote a very controversial column on No DQ. He got ratioed on X. He sent in $2. Thank you, Tito. Says, Rocky. We're going to get to that right now. But make sure you guys check out Tito's column. Tito's not afraid to throw out the hot takes and see who will take the bait. Check out his latest column about Tessa Blanchard over on NoDQ.com. Ratioed on X. Go find out why by reading it over on NoDQ.com. All right. So we had the big moment here. The Rock making his return. First time since the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw. Very bizarre segment. First of all, he had a little change with his music. You have the whole opening, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. And then we had some new song, which was very uncharacteristic for The Rock. I don't know. It felt random as hell. But then it transitioned into Hollywood Rock. Thankfully, I was going to be pissed. If they completely cut out Hollywood Rock, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, they did not do that. But yeah, I don't know what was up with that beginning music. I guess they wanted to get rid of the babyface music. I don't know. It was strange. And not the only strange thing about this segment. And Building Nexus, I'll get to your super chat here in just a moment. Apparently, The Rock at the press conference said that it was a remix of rappers' music. I don't know what it was, but I didn't care for it. Anyways, we had The Rock coming out for his first big announcement, and he said he was there to spread some good gospel shit, which got censored, of course. And he revealed, and this was no surprise, it's been rumored for a while, and they were in New Orleans. I think everybody saw this one coming. The Rock confirmed WrestleMania 42 will be in New Orleans at the Superdome. I believe it's April 11th and April 12th, 2026. New Orleans getting a third WrestleMania at the Superdome. I mean, it's a major tourist town, so it doesn't really surprise me all that much. And after we got the fireworks and Rock sang the Saints Come Marching In, that all that stuff. Then The Rock quickly turned heel, talked about the fans having STDs. He called them trailer park trash. And then he said he was not there for just the WrestleMania announcement. That wasn't the only gift he had. He wanted to call out a man that he respects and admires. And that's when he brought out The Rock. Or The Rock brought out Cody. Botch. The Rock brought out Cody. Cody Rhodes, WWE champion, came down to the ring. And The Rock talked about how they're friends and their mothers are friends now. But he had something important to tell Cody. He said Cody has been a great champion, but The Rock wanted to make it clear he's on the TKO board. He's the most powerful man in WWE. He said he wants Cody to become something greater. And he brought up how Cody has millions of followers, but The Rock has 1 billion followers. And The Rock wants Cody at his level. And The Rock said the way to do this is he wants Cody to become his champion. And Cody said he's the people's champion. Obviously not stealing The Rock's line, but he's the champion of the people. And The Rock said that he wants a brother. And he talked about last year how his goal was to face his cousin Roman Reigns. And then Cody stood up to him and slapped him. But he forgave Cody for that. Said Cody is special, can become his champion, and Cody can accomplish every dream. Anything he wanted, The Rock can make it happen. But The Rock doesn't want Cody to answer just yet. He told Cody to go home, talk it over with his wife, and think about it. And then The Rock said he will see Cody at the Elimination Chamber premium live event, and Cody must give his answer at that point. And then he said there's one thing he wants, and he kind of put his hand out like he was pointing to the WWE Championship. And then Cody, that's what Cody assumed, but The Rock said it, the thing he actually wants is Cody's soul. And that was the end of the segment. The Rock left the ring, and a lot of people were very confused, as was I. Like, this was a strange segment, and I felt like it took The Rock a long time to get to the point. He was just going on and on and on, and I'm thinking, just where's this going? And when it was all over, we just got another cliffhanger, and now we have to wait. I'm wondering if they don't even know what they're doing. I really don't. I wonder if they're trying to figure it out as we speak, and that's why we're waiting until Elimination Chamber. Look, Rock has to be wrestling, right? Like, why would they do this angle if The Rock is not having a match at WrestleMania? Like, it just doesn't make any sense if The Rock is not doing a match with Cody. So what does this mean? What is going to happen at the Chamber? I mean, if anything, they got me very intrigued. I'm confused, but I am interested to see where this goes. I do think there's a number of things that they can do with this. So first of all, Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. Says, do you think Roman Reigns gets involved in this Cody and Rock storyline? Look, anything's possible. I have an early theory, and this could change. We're going to be doing predictions next Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern after NXT, just so you guys know, Elimination Chamber predictions. So I may have a different opinion by that point. I don't necessarily think Roman Reigns is going to get involved. He's got his storyline with Seth Rollins, and I feel like that will probably take place. Like, I feel like something's brewing with Cody. Now, I've seen a few people throw this idea out. Michael said Cody Lander turns heel and joins The Rock. I've seen people say this, will Cody actually join The Rock? I don't think so. This definitely comes off to me like a modern version of the corporation, like with The Rock being Vince McMahon and Cody Rhodes being Steve Austin. Here's what I think is going to happen, but this is an early theory, opinion. I want to wait and see what happens with this and have a few days to think about it. But my initial thought process is Cody's going to turn down The Rock. He's going to come out there and he's going to milk it and tease that maybe he's going to agree, but then he's ultimately going to turn The Rock down. And where it goes from there, they got some options. I wonder if maybe The Rock will then show up as a surprise in the men's elimination chamber and win the whole thing. John Cena's a pro, and he'll be like, you guys do what's best for business. I could see that happening. Rock comes out in the chamber right at the end and wins the thing. Maybe John Cena wins, but then The Rock says he's going to be in the match. Or maybe John Cena is going to be the third man in the Jey Uso match, which I actually would not mind. Like if John Cena comes out there and wins and The Rock says, well, you're going to fight for the other championship, Cody's mine. Like, I could see them doing that. And in a way, I actually like that idea better because we'd finally get The Rock versus Cody. And then I think if John Cena was added to the Jey Uso and Gunther match, that would be elevated. And I think people would be happy after the whole dissatisfaction with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. So I wouldn't mind that if Cena just wins the chamber, but then The Rock says Cena's in that other match and Rock faces Cody at WrestleMania. Yeah, you could also do the heel turn with Cody, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, what if Drew McIntyre joins The Rock? Well, he could. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but you know, maybe The Rock builds some allies if they do in fact do like a new corporation. I don't know. To me, I feel like they don't even know at this point. And you know, this gives them a week now to figure out what the hell they're going to do for WrestleMania. Odd segment, but intriguing. We'll see where they go with it. All right, let's get to the rest of SmackDown. We had DIY versus Pretty Deadly, and DIY cut a promo before the match, had the fans rise to their feet, bow their heads in a moment of silence for Pretty Deadly. And then we had Pretty Deadly come out there, and match was good for what it was, but then, of course, we got another DQ. I'm not even surprised at this point. Street Profits interfered, causing a disqualification again, and Profits laid out both teams again. Motor City Machine Guns tried to help out, but they got laid out as well. Street Profits standing tall, and as Matthew pointed out in the chat room, does look like we are going to get a four-way tag match, which I don't know if they're going to be doing it at the Chamber. That might be a WrestleMania match, which seems about right because you get all the main teams on the show. We tend to get those types of matches. Shout out to Michael, who sent in a $2 super chat, says, are Pretty Deadly a face team now? Yeah, it looks like it. One thing I forgot to mention, Pretty Deadly came out there and they were beating up DIY as their music was still playing, and we had the disco balls. So they're not cowards anymore. Now they're ass kickers, and they're being more aggressive towards the bad guys for being jerks. Yeah, I think they definitely made the face turn, and hey, some people like them, so there you go. And yes, it was very AEW like with the Pretty Deadly beating down DIY as their music kept playing. And hey, there's an idea. Matthew said get Tyler Breeze as their manager. Hey, I'd be fine with that. That could be fun. We had footage shown of the Sami Zayn Adam Pearce segment from Raw, and then Kevin Owens officially responded to Zayn wanting the unsanctioned match. He called Zayn despicable and then said, what is Zayn doing to his family? And as it turns out, Owens was outside of Zayn's house, creeping on him, watching Zayn hanging out with his wife and son. And he said that Zayn asked for this, and everything that happens, it's Sami Zayn's fault. This was a good segment. Kevin Owens always delivers, and the only thing I'm wondering at this point is what are they doing for WrestleMania with KO and Sami Zayn for that matter? The announcers talked about Elimination Chamber, and the question was, will Cody Rhodes sell out? So once again, I don't think Cody's selling out, but the fact that people are even thinking it, hey, that's effective. That's a good thing. But yeah, it's similar to like when John Cena would be propositioned to do the bad thing, or Ultimate Warrior, or Hulk Hogan, or even Steve Austin, as I mentioned. So I don't see Cody selling out. We had our main event, Strowman and Damian Priest against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And Strowman was on fire in the beginning, but then a distraction from Tama Tonga allowed Fatu to send Strowman into the timekeeper's area. And then after the break, Damian Priest got the hot tag, but then Bloodline regained the upper hand. Priest kicked out of the spinning solo, and then he countered the Samoan spike. Then Fatu got back in the ring and super kicked Solo by mistake. And then Strowman wiped out both Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga on the outside of the ring. And Priest then pinned Solo with the South of Heaven choke slam. Solid main event here. They're building up some heat with Solo and Jacob Fatu. And that was the end of SmackDown. I thought it was a good show overall. The Rock's segment with Cody was unexpected. Did not blow me away, but did make me wonder where they're going with this, and gives me hope, as Virtue pointed out in our private chat. Like, there's some buzz from this, and now there's a glimmer of hope that maybe The Rock will do WrestleMania. But can they make it logical? Or is this just going to be stuff that they throw together? It does feel like Rock's coming in, and once again, nobody knows what the hell's going on here, because The Rock is The Rock, and apparently he does whatever he wants. All in all, I do think it was a good show. We had some filler, but it did move along pretty nicely and set up some stuff for the Chamber. And at the end of the day, I'm more interested in the Chamber show than I was when SmackDown started. So for that, I think SmackDown was a success. So I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. A lot of intrigue and interest. I don't think it was necessarily the best execution of some of these storylines and angles, like with The Rock, but we got to see how it plays out. As Road Dogg himself would say, we got to let it play out. So that's what I'm going to do. It was a pretty good show overall. I did enjoy it. 7 out of 10. Most interesting SmackDown probably since the first show that was 3 hours at the start of the year. Dave Scheffler sent in $2 and said, when is Jacob Fatu turning on Solo? Is Fatu going to turn on Solo, or is Solo going to turn on Fatu? That remains to be seen. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that one too. I mean, it kind of feels to me like a Solo face turn, but I feel like they would cheer Jacob Fatu over Solo. I'm not really sure where this is going. So this is interesting, but I feel like Fatu would be cheered over Solo. But if they tell the story effectively, maybe they can get the fans behind Solo. I don't know. We'll see on that one. Maybe WWE is just going to let the fans decide who's the baby face in this storyline. Who's going to turn on who? That remains to be seen. Shout out to Hamp Connell. Hamp sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. I appreciate it. Thank you. Says, was all of this planned, or did they offer The Rock tons of money because everything has sucked this year and they lost 53% of viewers? I don't think they offered Rock anything. I think The Rock, when he wants to do something, he does it. And he has that freedom. He has that power. And people making a big deal out of the Netflix viewership, I mean, it doesn't really matter, as The Rock would say. Keep in mind that first show on Netflix was going to have a much bigger number than usual. And it was ultimately going to fall. Remember, SmackDown on Fox had like 4 million viewers, and then it slipped down to 2.5. That's how it goes. It's still in the top 10 every week, and WWE is packing arenas. So the TV continues to be effective in getting fans to come to the buildings and spend money on the WWE product. And that's how you run a successful business. You get your fans hooked, get them invested. Now, if the numbers start dropping, if attendance starts dropping and business starts declining, then yeah, you can say that something's not right here. But yeah, I think people are maybe trying to spin those numbers to act like WWE's in trouble. And I don't really think that's the case. They seem to be doing great. There's a huge reaction. Crowd was chanting "Holy shit" at the WrestleMania 42 announcement. So, they're going to pack that stadium for both nights, and they're going to make a ton of money. Whether The Rock's there or not, regardless of what the Netflix numbers are, they're on fire, and they continue to be on fire. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I very much appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on the YouTube channel, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest news and rumors. And I will be back on Monday night for the Raw recap, and then Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after NXT, we'll be giving our predictions for the Elimination Chamber premium live event. Stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.